Hey everyone, Frost Giant released their Kickstarter about 18 hours ago from the moment that I'm recording this, and they've gotten themselves up to over $800,000 in less than 24 hours. It's insane, but that's not quite why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because there's a lot of new stuff, or at least a lot of centralized information on the Kickstarter that either has been hidden away in random interviews or we haven't seen before. So we're going to go over that. There's a lot of really exciting stuff. And also, if you haven't backed the Kickstarter already, or if you have, I've got an affiliate link. I get 5% back of it. Links right there. Also will be in the description. So if you want to go do that, I'd appreciate it. But let's get into all the new information. So the Kickstarter, right? There we go, $815,000 as I click this, out of $100,000 goal. With less than 24 hours, it's honestly so exciting. But I'm not making this video because they've 8x'd their goal in less than 24 hours. That's awesome. That's really exciting. The reason we're doing this is because there's a lot of new information. So we're going to start with the video. It's 5 minutes long. It's probably going to take longer than that to go over that. And then we're going to take a look at some of the reveals that are touched upon in the video, but covered a little bit more in the Kickstarter itself. But importantly, we're going to skip the first
developers
5 minutes because
you're here assembling
15 seconds, because honestly, it's just, hey, this is Frost Giant. We have developers. We have this experience. We're awesome.
Some of the world's greatest RTS developers who've worked on some of the biggest evolution for the real-time strategy genre. Welcome to Stormgate.
All right, so we're going to stop here for a second because, first of all, this is new music, and every single thing that Frank Klepacki and everyone else working on the auto team has done is just, it tickles my eardrums in a certain way. I'm very excited about it. But we can see things that we have not seen before. So, a couple things to point out here. This is co-op mode right here. I'm pretty sure. Apparently getting excited about Stormgate makes me sneeze. This is co-op mode. You can see some dropship that is not an evac, not the default Vanguard dropship, coming in from the left side, dropping, I think these, dropping medics. Dropping medics on top that have some shield on them. This is co-op mode. I'm pretty sure waves coming in. I guess it's just one player here, only Teal. But they're showing us co-op a little bit, which, again, we know the beta. We know the beta that just started yesterday is going to have co-op mode, has co-op mode enabled, but we haven't seen a ton of it. There was Asmongold, and there was Asmongold was playing some with SFan and someone else from OTK Network yesterday. But again, we haven't seen a ton of it. So this is co-op right here. It's important to note. And yeah, oh no, yeah, absolutely. Can I go back easily? Yeah. There we go. This is a hero. This is Blockade. He can spin. He can leap into the fray, stunning. He can pull units across the map, and he can heal. So absolutely co-op. It looked like a lot of fun from what I've seen thus far. But there we go. That's artistic number one. Either way, your world will fall. And I wonder who this is. We might just saying, you know, maybe in about 24 or 36 hours, we might know who this guy is. Just a thought. But this is clearly a cinematic right here. This is, I assume, from when the Stormgate gets opened the first time. But the cool thing about this, we can see some big bad guy. I assume he's a big bad guy. Flaming wings, red. I mean, we're going to assume that. But we can see in this still into the place where the Infernals are. Not necessarily their homeworld, because they're going, they dimension hop, and they find their way to extract animus from other places. But we can see into their homeworld. And we can see the vestiges of things that are not in game, that we haven't seen from the game just yet. That structure looks new in the background. I don't think we've seen that in any game assets. The background, I think these are thralls. It's really hard to say because obviously this is paused. But I think these are thralls in the background. Maybe Spriggans or something. But I think we're seeing some new stuff here. Just getting hinted at.
Our vision is to make the most fun RTS of all time. And to us, that means a lot to new players through new modes.
Importantly,
new
of course,
ways
Stormgate's going to have four main pillars campaign, which is going to go out in a chapter basis. They talk about this in the Kickstarter, but they're going to release Vanguard Chapter 1, Vanguard Chapter 2, Vanguard Chapter 3. Infernal chapters, whatever it is, but they will be serialized. And you're going to be able to have the opportunity to buy chapters, or I assume chapter packs. If you back at the $60 level for the Kickstarter, you can get all 3 Vanguard chapters, at least from the first story cycle, however that's going to work. We've seen some co-op, right? That's pretty fun. A lot of people in StarCraft love co-op. And they have the people that made StarCraft co-op, and they're hopefully making it even better. It's 3-player now, not just 2-player. And the engine, we'll talk about this in a second, the engine is extremely powerful. So it should lead to some fun stuff. And hey, competitive. Not too surprising there. But the map editor, they have some clips of this later on, is going to be insane. So we're going to see a lot of cool stuff. Custom maps, custom gameplay. I'm so excited to see what the community is going to figure out. But moving on.
Whether you like story or you enjoy cooperative experience.
I'm James Anhalt, the chief.
We talked about the engine. We talked about Snowplay. I'm not even going to talk for the first... okay, we're going to pause through this. But James Anhalt is the god of networking, the god of architecture, of computer architecture and networking design at Blizzard. He made StarCraft as incredible, because we talk about maybe StarCraft, it's single core, it's showing it's dated. For the time, it's an incredible piece of tech. What they have accomplished is insane. So anyway, we're just gonna let it roll. James, get us hyped about Snowplay.
Architect here at Frost Giant, and I'm here to show you the custom tech we built for Stormgate. It transforms Unreal Engine 5 into the most state-of-the-art real-time strategy game engine. Get ready for Snowplay.
Music. Okay, we're good. We got the music, we got everything, but can we talk about this for a second? So some of the stuff was known. That it was going to be 64 tick, which means it's roughly 3 times as fast as StarCraft. We knew about that. We knew that roleplay happened. People were tweeting about it. I've played with rollback on. It's insane how good it is. I played with people in Asia. I played with people in Europe, and I barely felt the lag. It's truly insane how powerful it is. And we knew some of this other stuff too, but having it all in one place, and if you were not paying attention as much, maybe you didn't see it. Okay, so thousands of units. If you ever played a 4v4 in StarCraft, the lag gets unplayable. I have a 3090, I have a 5800X 3D, I have a really powerful computer. Playing more than 2v2 lags chunks my PC. And I have a top-of-the-line PC from like 3 years ago. It's kind of insane. And adding in thousands of units like this with minimal performance loss is pretty awesome, because again, it's going to be multi-core. Now, Snowplay, the game logic only apparently executes on 1 core from the Game Foundry interview, but everything else is going to handle the rest of it. So StarCraft, everything's all on 1 core, just period. When it's only the game logic on 1 core, that really should speed everything else up. But also, pretty safe, it's not going to do it. The fact, that's not what I care about. I mean, I do. But mass spectating. The ability to have a ton of people in a lobby connect, disconnect at will, kind of like what Dota TV does, is so exciting. And they're able to do this, first of all, because James Anhalt and the rest of the architecture team's a god, or gods and goddesses, deities, there we go. But also, they have Fluxu, the guy who hacked that into Warcraft 3, in Warcraft 3 Reforged, the community mod that people were playing on for the longest time. So they have the expertise to make this happen. And because they have this, you can reconnect to games. You can reconnect to games. You get disconnected. You can join back in. It's not the immediate loss. You can hot join in games. So no longer you're going to have to play the Stormgate version of Rainer Party Revival and only be able to play it right then. No, you're going to be able to join, leave. And I know they just say replays here. Instant scrubbing of replays. You can go to 15-minute. You can go at 16 times speed. You can scrub through just nearly instantaneously. Replays are going to be so much better than StarCraft, like insanely better than what StarCraft has been able to do. And StarCraft, honestly, it's still pretty industry leading, but it's so smooth. And then of course rollback. We talked about it. It's when they hinted about
Snowplay
this.
plus Unreal Engine 5 makes Stormgate a truly next-gen real-time strategy game, and we can't wait for you to get your hands on it and play.
All right. New faction. We know about the Human Vanguard. That's the multiplayer faction, the humans, with the Vulcan there. We know about the Infernal Host with all that stuff. We saw them coming through the Stormgates. We have no idea about the third faction. We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know what the reasons are. I mean, it was very clear early on when things were announced. Well, Infernals are going to come and they want to get the Animus and their dimension hopping beasts that want to consume. We don't know anything about the third faction. It looks like in the background, it might be a Stormgate that we see right there. So this might, if I was to hazard a guess, I mean, I think that a lot of guesses here are there's some sort of, we have a human race, we have a demon race, we got to have an angel race, right? But seeing as this, it kind of looks like a Stormgate in the background. Maybe, it's really hard to tell. It might make sense that there's another faction that is trying to chase down and punish or exterminate the Infernal Host for destroying planets, maybe someone that they failed to conquer, and that they're kind of chasing through these Stormgates to try to save and do whatever, and then the humans misinterpret, so that's why everyone hates each other. I don't know. It might make sense. It's also just the ball race. It might just be balls. I don't know. I know people were joking about anime cat girls, but I don't see cat girl. I don't see cat ears here, so I think we're okay. I think we're safe from the anime.
Early access, we will have 3 distinct asymmetric mechanics that are unique to them. We began developing Stormgate by focusing on our 1v1 mode initially. This allowed us to make sure that the game was responsive, units felt good, and the game blew us away. The response to our...
Can confirm. I've been in the beta or the testing since the pre-alpha, and we're allowed to talk about this. I'm not breaking NDA. I can confirm that the game has felt really good, regardless of balance, regardless of everything else. The game has felt really good, and it's been remarkably... there were issues with Asmongold and the beta launch yesterday because everyone was trying to play all at once, I think. But in general, it's been rock solid. It's really pretty awesome. But also, the exciting thing... oh, it's not in this video. It's in the 10-minute video. But there's footage of the tournament that I casted. There's my voice is in there. It's pretty fun. And the overlay I built and things like that.
Earliest pre-alpha test was that it was already incredibly fun, and so we've carried that with us forward.
It was fun. The bubbles were not. Just so we're clear, they've changed that. It's okay, but yeah.
To other modes.
Discovery, this is command.
We're kicking off early access with the first few chapters of an epic, sweeping campaign that will allow you to experience the story of Stormgate either solo or cooperatively with your friends. Additionally, early on, we partnered with Chris Metzen himself, the war chief and one of the key creatives who came up with the vision for Warcraft and StarCraft originally.
Chris Metzen, he's back. Say what you want about the StarCraft 2 storyline. StarCraft 1 storyline is known as one of the better stories in video games. Warcraft 3 had a great... I mean, that's Tim Morton. Well, no, that was Tim Campbell, actually, that did Warcraft 3 campaign, but... Chris Metzen, Tim Campbell working together. Ooh. Hopefully the stories are going to be good. I know there's been some people saying, it looks too cartoony. Hopefully the story is going to be pretty fantastic. We don't know a ton about it. We know roughly the infernal goals. And humans want to not die. But other than that, we don't know much.
We're bringing together some of the best elements of both fantasy and sci-fi into a new post-apocalyptic.
By the way, those storyboards are new. We haven't seen those. We've seen this. We've seen some of the other shots, but anything that's storyboarded black and white is 100% new information.
Setting. We're set in the near future inside the midst of this apocalypse where an alien race...
By the way, this art as well as we haven't seen... Okay, so taking a look at here, we've seen... I think this is the bunker or the Fellhog, the thing that spawns the Fellhogs. I think that's that structure that's been storyboarded. Don't know what this is. Don't know what this is. We don't know what these are. None of this has been shown just yet. If it's going to make its way in game at all. Don't know what this is. This is the Harbinger. This is the drop ship that we saw in the IGN video. There we go. The rest of it, this might be... I think this is a gun, actually. Okay, yeah, this is a gun. This is a ranged unit. Other than that, we haven't seen any of this stuff in game, or I should say in any media. Yeah, we don't know what any of this is.
Of infernal, demonic invaders has swept into the world and destroyed civilization as we know it, subjugating all of humanity. And in the middle of...
Well, I guess, okay, there's the vault, there's the thing that makes brutes, there's the imp. But everything else is pretty new. It's a teaser, maybe. I don't know. It's a lot of units that we haven't seen.
We mix together post-apocalyptic.
And I guess this is gonna. No, this has got to be just a This has just got to be a multiplayer map storyboard because we can see the different we can see the different structures. Oh, these are new structures. I mean, I think these are. I think this is older art because there's a factory. It's not called a munition factory anymore. And it's not called a command bunker. It's called a command post. And bunkers are, per the IGN video, not a thing. They're Sentinel posts, but they're a little bit different. The Atlas looks different, but Blast Furnace, is that a... I think Blast Surface. Skunk Works. These are ideas. We're looking on the right side of the screen that we haven't seen. I imagine that's maybe tier 3 stuff. Tier 3 upgrades. Tier 3... maybe something to build the Gigamech. I don't know. But this is things that we haven't seen yet.
Settings with survivors and ragtag militia.
Oh, pointing out, by the way, this is, I believe, their concept art for the neutral camps, not for the third faction. But I think this is for people that didn't join the Vanguard, that were left out in the wastes post-apocalyptically and had to live, and you get some real Mad Max vibes.
And marauders and all these desperate circumstances, along with hard sci-fi elements.
And all of this is, I think this might be a model for a hangar bay that we haven't seen just yet. I think this might be a medic, like an earlier model for a medic. I have no idea. This we definitely haven't seen in anything. This is on the mouse pad that they sent me back in a year ago, maybe. But the thing that we needed to end up, of course, this is the Scout. This is the Gigamech. That's exciting. I think this is one of the, this is one of the Flyers. I think it might be the Hornet. But if I want to take a look at here, is you look at these other structures, and they're done artistically. This looks closer to a render. So that tells us that this is probably closer to getting in the game. I don't know. I mean, this also looks more like a render than it looks like art. But if I'm to take a look at this, I'm assuming this is a bomber type thing. I mean, you look below, I guess that's vents, but it looks like almost maybe like a flying aircraft carrier. I don't know. I'm excited to find out.
Battle mechs and spaceships and cybernetics. At the end of the day, what we really want to do is be able to have a mech punch a dragon.
Well, we know that there are mechs in the game, and we know that they have a flayed dragon, which is a summonable unit from the Infernal. So they're getting pretty close to being able to have a mech punch a dragon.
As an extension to our universe, we're building an expanding roster of hero characters that you can use in the single-player campaign or co-op as you're exploring the story, but that you can also lead into battle in the 3 versus AI cooperative mode or in the 3v3 team mode.
Key thing to remember here, heroes are in campaign, they're in co-op, they're in 3v3, they're not in 1v1. I know there's been some discussion about that, and well, the Flayed Dragon's clearly, it's not a hero unit. They are different, just so we're clear. But we can see units here. I mean, we saw Blockade, that's the first one. They've hinted at a couple more. We know the names of the woman that they showed the key art for, but not the man. And I can't remember the name. If I go back in one of the Stormgate Nexus articles, it's there. I can't remember the name of the woman at the moment, but we do know who she is. We know her name. That's it.
Building after early access. We're then taking the technology and the tools that we've used to build.
I should point out here as well. So this is the editor, and it looks awesome. That being said, oh wait, Yedit, yeah, Yeti Edit. I love that. But the one thing I was talking to, definitely they wanted to point, they pointed out that this is still in Unreal, I think, in the footage, and it's going to be, the editor is going to be self-contained. It's going to be accessible through the client. It's not going to be through Unreal. Just that's what devs are used to, so that's where this recording was done. Just so we're clear, like you're not going to have to learn Unreal. You're just going to have to learn the editor.
All of these modes, and we're bundling them up to release to you, so that you can really unleash your creativity and introduce the world to your own stories, your own characters, and your own mods. Our 4C.
Oh, and the cool thing about this, by the way, because it's in client, you'll be able to swap back and forth between what you're working on and trying it out just instantaneously. There's not going to be the whole, Like with StarCraft's editor, where you try something and then you have to load up StarCraft and it's a load unload, it's slow. This is just real time. You do something, you see the effect, which is awesome.
The campaign, the co-op, the custom games, and of course, the competitive gameplay are at the heart and soul of what we're building here.
So why are we doing a Kickstarter? We felt that this was the best way to give the community finding units of the Vanguard army.
We don't need the rest of it's just why are we doing a Kickstarter, which is very simple. They want to be able to have $8,000 in the moment that we've been full screen. They want to be able to go and have first of all, physical collector's copies, which they don't have the funding. They have the funding to make a game and publish the game and put it out there. They don't have the funding to buy buy a bunch of models or physical collector's edition things and then sell them. The nice thing about Kickstarter is you know exactly how much you need to make and you can sell that, and your margins are going to be better because you don't end up buying figurines that you don't end up selling. So that's really nice. The other thing is that Steam, because of early access, because they're publishing on Steam, doesn't allow you to sell one-off beta keys. If you want to do that, if you want to have some sort of beta access, pay for beta access, you have to do it through a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe or Indiegogo or something like that. Steam doesn't let you do it otherwise. So if they want to have a bunch of people into the beta and they do need to fundraise on that in some way, just servers are expensive. They're not making money right now. They will be eventually, but they're not making money right now. I guess in 57 days, they're going to have made 800. Wow. Let's be real. This is going into the millions. But making that kind of money, again, they're not making money just yet. So to justify that, to justify the extra server costs, that's one of the reasons the Kickstarter exists. Just so we're clear, it's not because they're running out of money. It's not because some nebulous company is having legal issues. It's to spin things up. And again, for physical collector's copies, which I'm very excited about. I have backed the collector's edition. I'm excited for my 6-inch statue, but let's talk about this Kickstarter a little bit. So most of this is a lot of this stuff is going to get rehashed based on the video, but some of the stuff is still new. And it's not that, I mean, 3 times the StarCraft, whatever, we talked about that. Snowplay is awesome. We saw this video earlier. I mean, again, look at how smooth rollback is. It is crazy how good it is. And I'm not just saying that. Like, again, I've played with it. I grew up playing StarCraft on 700 milliseconds ping. It was stable 700 milliseconds, but it was 700 milliseconds nonetheless. And I can tell you that I wish we'd had rollback because, oh, my life would have been, high school me would have been so much happier. We've seen this video, by the way. This is just the James Anhalt section from the Kickstarter video. But let's zoom in this a little bit. We can see the first co-op map. You can see you spawn right here in the bottom left. There are bases in the center that you should take. Also, well, enemy bases that you're going to have to clear out before you take it. And then also convoys coming in that are going to try to power an ion bolt cannon, dealing terrible damage. To what? We don't know because the storyline's not in yet. But it's prevent the convoys from powering the thingamagaffin. And from what I saw from SFan and Asmongold playing it, it seemed like, I mean, they were having a rough time because they're not native RTS people, obviously. You learn. But they were having a good time. It did seem like a lot of fun. And also, apparently, the cool thing about this co-op is you don't have to play with heroes. You can just play base Vanguard, base Infernal faction in co-op, which is probably not balanced around, but extra challenge there is pretty cool. By the way, 1,000 people have backed the collector's edition. You know, like actually the crazy thing is we talk about this. Oh, that's the signed collector's edition. Sorry, that was done within like 6 hours. But 10 people have backed at $5,000, 27 at $2,000, 31 at $1,000. That's like $100,000. That's over $100,000 right there. People are excited about this. But again, we can see these clips. It's a different clip, but same idea of the co-op hero jumping in, spinning around. He can also heal, and he can also teleport a bunch of units across the map, which is pretty cool. Also, they got mutated. They got a couple mutators in, apparently. I'm not sure what's causing all these Atlas bolts to rain down, but ouch. That doesn't seem like it's going to be all that good. That doesn't seem all that comfy. This is why we got to get good. Oh, we have a... Have we seen this video?
I had the pleasure of working on the StarCraft 2 version of co-op, and it was a mode that I love dearly. We see Stormgate's highly replayable 3-player co-op mode as an evolution of that mode, in which there are even more replayable missions. There are more opportunities to cooperate.
By the way, this ping system is fantastic. There's a alt left click, it does one thing, and alt right click does other things. The ping system is just super advanced, and it's contextual ping. It allows you to tell what you're doing. It tells you to tell allies what to do. It's super cool.
In addition, enemies will be more varied. There will be more dynamic occurrences in every given map. One of our primary design
artillery raining in. That doesn't feel good.
Goals with Stormgate co-op is that it'll be a new experience every time you play. A large part of what makes Stormgate co-op very exciting is the heroes that we have planned for you all.
Okay, so we know that we have the name of this woman. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but we know roughly who she is. We don't know who this guy is. But also, notice she's not filling the archetype of any of the units. Although, in fairness, Blockade isn't either. I guess he's kind of a Lancer, but not really. Anyway, we're going to have to pay attention to that. Whether heroes follow unit archetypes, like they're an upgraded Lancer or an upgraded Exo or something. I guess she might be an upgraded Exo, 2 guns instead of 1. We'll find out. I don't know.
Stormgate hero is not only just a unit on the battlefield. It's also a brand new array of global abilities you can use anywhere on the map, and new units that are very specific to the hero itself. Let's take our first co-op hero, Blockade from the Vanguard faction. Blockade is known for being a resilient fighter supporting his teammates with heals and buffs. But Blockade's not just about defense. As one of the most grizzled fighters in the Vanguard army, he'll be able to jump into the battlefield and swing his hammer around to strike fear into enemies. And in a pinch, he'll be able to help his allies from across the map with his ability to teleport not only himself, but his units across the battlefield.
I feel like that should stun. But I feel like that just might be from my experience with other games. Regardless, it's pretty powerful.
Co-op in Stormgate is really a mode for everyone, and we can't wait for you to try.
But again, I don't think I've ever seen a game with this much. I think this is more than 600 supply on the map right now, but in this GIF. But you can see just again, this doesn't look. I don't know what machine they're on, but this doesn't look laggy at all. And this is an insane amount of entities and explosions and skills going off. By the way, yeah. I'm gonna be a DreamHack. I'm not casting this, but I will be a DreamHack Atlanta. I'm casting DreamHack Atlanta, just not the show match. But that'll be on twitch.tv/ESL. Tastosis is going to be casting. There's going to be developer interviews. There's going to be show matches. Monoverse TLO. Winner plays Warcraft 3 Goat Moon. It's going to be really fantastic. Again, testimonials. I can also tell you that it's fun. That's my testimonial. I've really enjoyed it. We've seen this. If you want to see the alpha testing recap, we're not going to watch it right now. My reaction to that is on the video. There's footage of me casting the first alpha tournament. So that's pretty cool. But we also have some campaign information. Again, Chris Metzen's back, writing some of the greatest stories of video games. It's actually super exciting. And the thing about this is they have story beats plotted out for like the next 5 years. So they're going to be releasing it in chapters. This is game as a service. I believe you're going to have to still keep buying. You will have to keep buying campaign chapters as years go on, because that's just how that works. That's how they plan to make money over time. That's how they plan to make this sustainable. Box games aren't really, if you're trying to keep a game up and continuously supported, box games don't really do it. And by the way, we know about this, but Mickey Nielsen as well, who has done a lot of good writing. New York Times bestseller. But again, brief descriptions, the Vanguard, the Infernals, we've seen that before. The cool thing about this, and this is what I've gleaned from watching streams recently, so I can talk about it. I'm not breaking NDA. It seems like the Human Vanguard is all about about unit retention, keeping your units alive, allowing them to scale up, to get different levels of veterancy, and building this powerful army. Whereas the Infernal faction is, I'm going to lose my units, I'm going to kill your units, that gives me animus that allows me to cast really powerful spells that then go and make other things happen. So from that perspective, it's kind of a cool dichotomy. No idea what the third faction will be, and they hint at maybe a fourth. More surprises in the future. Maybe a fourth faction. I don't know. We have seen, I want to say we've seen this video. Yeah, we've seen this video. Also, again, No. So I'm sorry. In the video earlier, in the 5-minute video, we saw the actual editor. This is the editor we can see in Unreal, but you can see Yedit as well, popped out there doing its own thing. Again, you don't have to learn Unreal to build games for Stormgate, or to build anything for Stormgate. You just have to learn their editor. But of course, the rewards, don't need to talk about that all that much. We do, however, have to talk about. By the way, this statue's going to be sick. It's 6 inches tall, 6.5 inches tall. That's like this big. It's gonna sit on my shelf. And so you're gonna get a medic pin, you're gonna get a harbinger pin, and you're gonna get a pin of the third faction. It's not letting me zoom in enough. This actually lends credence to the idea that there's more likely that this is gonna be the angel race, because this kind of looks like biblically correct angels, right? It's not spheres and eyes, but weird angles all over the place. The other thing this might be actually is whatever race left the shield that you can see in the announcement trailer that we got 2 years ago. That might be what this is. Again, that looks kind of like that's a kind of a chevron shield, but I don't know. You also get a challenge coin. I don't care. I want the statue. I don't care about the pins, the statue, all that. Granted, the 300. Yeah, you get that as well. This is all sold out. It's not going to get signed. Oh, apparently you get your name in the game credits as well, and then you can go and fund for a ton more stuff. But here's the important thing: they've blasted through these. We're not at 900,000, right? Not yet. Before I take a look at this, we're gonna refresh this page because they might have gone and updated. Now we're only at 822, so they've generally been adding stretch goals like +2 of where we are. But where are we at? Where did the stretch goals go? Oh, they moved them to the top. Silly Frost Giant, reordering your things. But anyway, so we're gonna get a new tile set. We've seen, if you've been watching any of the streams, you've seen the desert wasteland tile set. You've seen the forest tile set. Now we're gonna get an Arctic tile set as well. So that's 3. That was one was gonna, as long as the game got, as long as the Kickstarter got funded, we were gonna get that. That was at 100K. Just about 45 minutes later, they said, okay, you're going to get a HUD skin now. You're going to get a different HUD skin, and the way this is getting made, there will be other HUD skins. I gotta assume it's being made. It's designed so skins can happen. Additional weekly mutators for co-op. A lot of people love that. If you don't like that, just don't have to turn it on. The player assist tool is cool. We don't know what it is. It's touched upon in one of the updates, and effectively, it's a way for experienced RTS players to help casual RTS players get onboarded in different ways. We don't know much more than that. They haven't prototyped it out super much. It's an idea. They're working around it. It should be a lot of fun. If we hit 900, which is, I mean, we're 24 hours in and we're at 822. We're 20 hours in. It's not even, we're 22 hours in and it's not, we're almost at 900K anyways. They're going to release 3v3 early. Allow people to play that earlier on, move that up in the production, which is pretty cool. And then 1.1, expanded bot personalities. This should make a laser really happy, because what this means is that, well, the bots are gonna. StarCraft bots are horrible. There's no point playing against them. But it sounds like maybe we're gonna get some next gen bots, and it might actually be worth it to play against bots sometimes to practice a build order, or just because you can't play online, or I don't know. There might be reasons to do that. So that's pretty exciting, and that is the extent of it. So they go into year 0 when they have plans. Year 0 is the early access period starting next year. Year-long campaigns, 3v3. Editor, by the way, is not going to be fully released with early access. I believe the idea is for melee maps to be buildable with early access. Don't quote me on that. And then moving on later. Being able to make custom games and all this stuff. It's a lot of effort to break the editor out of Unreal and make it really usable for the layperson with tutorialization and things. So that's not going to be at early access, but I think it should be at release. But yeah, 3v3, refine everything, do beta testing, do whatever. Move into year 1, move into a fully released game. And by the way, we got to point out alpha, beta, early access. They are truly alpha, beta, early access for Frost Giant. Pre-alpha there were a lot of gray boxes. It was a lot of jank. It was great, but still a lot of jank because it's alpha. It's pre-alpha. When they say they're in beta right now, they're truly in what beta means. It's not a promotional. Oh, well, we're like 99% done here. Play it for a couple days and then it's promotional. Things are actively getting changed. They're actively paying attention to feedback. It is a big deal. Also, sorry, there are apparently they're not shipping to Denmark, or some way. So there are some shipping issues, but regardless, it's exciting. But anyways, that is the Kickstarter. That's the new news. That's the news all collated in one place. If you haven't backed the Kickstarter yet, and I strongly recommend you do, I have an affiliate link. It kicks 5% back to me. Doesn't cost you anything. Down in the description. So you should go use that. And I will see you tomorrow for the Game Awards. That starts at 7:30. I'll be streaming here on YouTube and on Twitch as well. We're going to be in. Frost Giant is going to have a trailer. They're going to have some other special stuff. We're going to be able to catch it live. See you then tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern. That is 4:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Central European time. I'll see you then. Until next time.